Here are a few basic Photoshop edits that you can make to your pictures right off the bat. In this picture, the first thing that I would look at is cropping. The crop tool is over here on the left side. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th tool down, or you can press the letter C on your keyboard. When these boxes at the top, width and height, are blank, it's a freeform crop. So I can draw the box however I want, and it will crop it like that. If you want it to fit a specific size, like you want to put it on an 8x10 paper, then you would fill those numbers in here. But cropping can do a lot for recomposing your photograph. Maybe you want to put the flower in the upper right instead of dead center, something like that. When you find the size that you like or the shape, then you check it up here, and now it's cropped. Anytime you want to undo something, Control Z on the keyboard. The next thing I usually look at in my pictures is levels. If you go down here to the New Adjustment Layer button, the little black and white circle, go all the way up to levels. In the graph here on the right side, you'll see that the levels have a lot of light tones by this white slider, some mid-tones by the gray, and not a lot of dark tones, just a little bit here. And that makes sense when you look at the picture. If you would like to adjust this, it can make a big difference in your picture. For example, you can take this black slider and pull it in a little to the right, and what it will do is darken your darks. So the parts that are already dark will get darker. You can go as far as you like depending on the effect that you want. Of course, the further you go, the more intense it gets. Usually it's recommended to pull it in just to the beginning of this graph here. If you pull the white one into the left, then your picture will get brighter on the highlights. And then the gray one changes your midtones. If you want to turn that layer off and on to see the difference, if you like it or don't like it, that's the little visibility icon that looks like an eyeball. Another thing that I like to do to my pictures is curves. So again, with the New Adjustment Layer, go up to Curves. Normally your curves start out straight, but you can pull it, it's like a rubber band, to adjust different things. When it says RGB at the top here, you're adjusting the contrast. Again, darks over here, lights over here. So I can pull on this and slide it around and it will change the picture. Same on this end. Or I can pull on the middle parts. It's generally recommended to make what's called an S-shaped curve by pulling a little bit up here on the top end and a little bit down here on the bottom end. These are your shadows. So that increased contrast by brightening my brights and darkening my darks. Let's see the difference. Just increase the contrast. It got rid of a little of the grays. If you look especially right here, when I turn it back on, less gray in the picture. The other thing you can do with curves is click the drop down and you can adjust specific color curves, like I can adjust the reds, the greens, or the blues, and each of these has its color opposite. For example, on the red curve, if I pull up, it will get redder. But if I pull down, it will get the opposite of red, which is cyan. So in the extreme there, you can see what cyan looks like. If I decide I don't want to adjust my red curve, I just take this little point and pull it off to the side and drop it. The green curve allows me to increase my greens, and the opposite of green is magenta. So if you like that, you can pull around and kind of see what looks best. You can add more than one point. I could pull this down in the middle and pull this up on the other end to get some interesting effects. You don't want to go too crazy though, or it starts to distract from an already nice picture. Now I can adjust the blue curve if I want. So I could, let's say I want it to be a bluer picture. I'm going to pull up to make it more blue. Down, the opposite of blue is yellow. So if I want to warm the picture up, I would pull down. But maybe I want my shadows to actually be a little bluer. So these dark tones, right now they're more of a neutral tone. If I pull up here on the end, the shadows start to get blue. So you can see the carved letters here got blue. So I'm going to actually let that be a little bit. I want a little bit of blue in the shadows just for fun. You can play around with it. And again, RGB adjusts all of the colors at once, which changes your contrast. Now finally, if you decide that you want to make your picture black and white, and that can look really nice for a lot of pictures, there's multiple ways to do it, but again, down in the New Adjustment Layer and go up to black and white. probably the quickest way. And then you have all these sliders that adjust the tones in the picture. So if I go back, I have a lot of blues and I have a lot of pinks or magentas. So when I turn it back on, I probably want to be adjusting these sliders if I want to see a difference. So let's say I want those blues to be darker. I'm going to grab the blue slider and pull it left. But notice the flower didn't really get affected because it doesn't have blue in it, or if I want to brighten the blues. If I mess with the magenta one, or maybe even my red slider, it's going to affect the flower. So if I want the flower to brighten up or darken. So you want to be subtle with your changes. At this point, you can decide which layers you're going to keep on and which ones you're not going to use anymore, but those are some basic edits that you can do to a picture right off of the bat.